Hi, Brian Ryder again. Another 3D drawing lesson. This time we're on to 2-point and we're using a kitchen example. So this is going to be somewhat different to the 1-point, but not a huge amount different, except the only thing that's in scale is the back corner of the room, not the back wall, but the corner. So we're looking for this as our final result, and off we go. As before, we start with a scale plan, okay? So we need to make sure that the plan is easy to follow, standard notation, and accurate. So the only way we can get a 2-point presentation is by using the corner where the two rows of units intersect. So that's the left-hand corner. So that back left-hand corner is where we start from, and that is the only part of the drawing that's in scale. So that's it. This is the back corner of the room. Standard ceiling height 2.4 meters. Use whatever height you want to, but 2.4 default is the simplest way to do it. Again, as before, let's choose the horizon line. Now, the horizon line is normally 1600 millimeters. Eye height, you can choose different ones, but start off with the standard one and then only choose when you feel that a different height is beneficial to the presentation. So we then locate our 2 vanishing point, not just the 1 vanishing point, but it's a 2-point, as it says, 2 vanishing points. And the simplest way to do that is normally to choose the vanishing points at the end of that horizon line to the maximum the board allows. Now, if you've got a full-size drawing board, then you don't have to go to the full size of that, but you need to go a little bit further than the walls to get the best view and the easiest way to draw. And again, we just emphasize, make sure that you've marked off the height of the room, which is 2.4 meters or whatever you want. We can now get rid of the horizon line, what I call the viewing line, and just leave the corner of the room and the vanishing points. As before, we need to find the walls. So we line up the vanishing point, in this case on the right hand side, with the corner of the room. Line up vanishing point with the corner of the room. Remember, this is an interior drawing, so it's the opposite of an exterior building. So once we've lined up the vanishing point, we can then draw the floor and the ceiling of the left-hand wall. And of course, by reversing the process, we can then find the floor and the ceiling of the right-hand wall. Next stage, mark off the worktop height, which of course is in scale, 900 millimeters, and the height of the wall units, default height, is 2115. Now obviously you can use whatever measurement you have to, but using the default measurement is simpler and quicker. We now use the left-hand vanishing point to project those 2 points, the worktop height and the height of the wall units, along the right-hand wall, and ditto the left-hand wall. So we're now clearly showing the base units and the wall units of the 2 walls. Now we start the measurements. So we need the perspective measurements along the worktop line of the right-hand wall. Now this, you need to use your perspective ruler or whatever measurement system you want to, but the perspective ruler is much the simplest thing to start off with. So then we transfer those measurements from the back of the worktop to the front of the worktop using the vanishing point, and to find the front of the worktop we'll need to measure along the left hand wall for the depth of the worktop, which is 600 millimeters, and then using the vanishing point on the left hand side, project that line to the right, and then of course draw a vertical line for each of the divisions. So measurements for the right hand units directly on the worktop at the back, measurement for the depth of the worktop, that's for the 600 millimeters in perspective measurement along the left hand, then projected with the left hand vanishing point. So now we can tidy up a bit. You get rid of some of the hidden lines, leave the plinth line or use a new line for the plinth, and as you can see it's beginning to take shape. You get a slightly distorted view on the right hand side end panel, but that's the way the vanishing point works. If you had taken the vanishing point outside the room completely, as it would have been perhaps more convenient to do, then you perhaps get a slightly better shape, but it still works. So now we're going to finish off the left hand side. So we've got a great big fridge freezer there, and we've profiled that, profiled the end of that. The vanishing point gives us the end panel of that unit. It's starting to take shape. Now we're going to work on the wall units. So we've got the profiling of the wall units, but we're not seeing any depth at the moment because the vanishing point, of course, is within inside the framing of the wall units. But once we get to the depth of the units, particularly around the window, we can see quite clearly the depth of the units, that one end panel to the left hand side of the window area. We're then going to tidy up the line, so we're tidying up all the hidden lines on the wall units, and it's coming clear now. We're just profiling our window. Again, it's giving us depth, making it look a bit more finished. We've now got the hob, we've now got the sink, and we're showing the depth of the sink, so it's a bit tidier. And we're now adding the individual units, the individual wall units, so the doors are coming into line basically with the base units. We've now got a cooker hood of sorts sticking out, which gives a bit of extra feel to the plan presentation. And then a little bit more detail showing the panels of the oven, showing the control panel of the dishwasher, beginning to look like a finished plan now. And then we're going to check the drawing, make sure we get rid of all the hidden lines, make sure there's no distortion in the drawing, which we can probably change at this stage, particularly if you're using a computer plan. It's quite easy to change most computer plans if you're building up bit by bit, and then you can take out the lines, tidy them up, realign them slightly. So we're getting towards a finished drawing. So let's go to the final stage. We're going to complete the drawing, and then we're going to do some rendering. As we said before, a bit of rendering, particularly color, provides a saleable or more saleable presentation. So we've got a finished product here. There are lots more details we could put in. We've got quite a nice subtle presentation. We probably needed an extra door on the fridge freezer. Maybe we could have put handles on the fridge freezer. We could have put cooking zones on the hob. We could have maybe added a bit more detail to the draining board. But it's quite a nice, adequate, simple presentation. But you can certainly improve on it, and it's the sort of thing that you could possibly print out and add your own finishing details, cornice, light pelmet, inset plinths. Have a go. Well worth it. Thanks for watching. Come back next time.